Imagine this for a second. There's a senior project consultant, Alex, staring at this huge, complex project's plan. You can almost feel the weight of everything that could go wrong. And just then, her mentor, Sam, this seasoned pro, walks over, glances at the plan, and says, "Feeling the pressure of the unknown? Don't worry, we're not going to try to predict the future. We're going to build a shield." Okay, so let's get into this game plan. See, any great defense starts with a really solid strategy. So first up, we're going to define our terms, like what are we actually up against here? Then we'll dig into the whole purpose of our shield, the risk management plan. After that, we're going to build it section by section. And then finally, we'll hand the tools over to you. So Sam tells Alex, look, before we can build anything, we have to be super precise with our language. You can't defend against a threat you can't even name properly. So that's our first step. We have to master the language of uncertainty. We have to start with the big one, a risk. Now, this is not a problem yet. Think of it like a ghost, a potential future. It's the ultimate what if. What if our main supplier is late? Or, on the flip side, what if a new technology works way better than we expected? See, it can be positive or negative. It's all about what might happen.
Okay, so an issue, that's what happens when a risk decides to show up to the party. The ghost is no longer a ghost, it's right there in the room with you. The supplier is late, your best developer has just resigned. It's not a what if anymore, it's a what now. It's a fire, and you've got to put it out right now.
And then we have assumptions. These are the things we decide are true just so we can get on with planning. For example, we assume that our stakeholders will be available for their weekly meetings. We just accept it as fact. But what if they're not? The second that assumption turns out to be false, boom, it instantly becomes a new risk for us to manage.
And this table just lays out the difference perfectly. Just look at that timing row. That's the key. Risks are all about the future. Issues are happening in the present. And assumptions are what we believe to be true right now so we can plan for that future. I'm telling you, getting this distinction right is absolutely everything. So, with all these potential threats just floating around, you gotta ask, how do we get ready? We can't just cross our fingers and hope for the best. No way. We build that strategic shield Sam was talking about. And that shield is the risk management plan.
And this is a really interesting point here, the difference between risk and quality. Think about it like this. Quality management is all about building a solid seaworthy ship from day one. Using the best materials, following the blueprints perfectly. Risk management, that's you in the crow's nest, scanning the horizon for storms, for pirates, for sea monsters, and having a plan for exactly what to do if you spot one. So this plan, it's basically your rule book. It's not just a scary list of everything that could go wrong, it's a proactive guide. It lays out who does what tools we're going to use, and how we're going to make decisions before we're in the middle of a crisis. It's all about turning panic into a clear process. So Alex, our consultant, she's starting to get it. She says, okay, I get the why, but where on earth do we actually start building this thing? Let's see how Sam answers, as he starts to lay out the blueprint for this shield, piece by piece. Every good plan starts with the methodology. Before you even think about a single specific risk, you have to decide how you're going to approach this whole thing. What tools are we going to use? Are we going to do brainstorming sessions, expert interviews? This sets the ground rules for everything that comes next. Next up, roles. And this is so critical, because a risk that doesn't have an owner is a risk that's guaranteed to be ignored. The project manager, yeah, they lead the whole process. But every single risk needs a specific owner whose job it is to watch that risk and launch the response plan if needed. Everybody needs to know what their job is. So Alex asks, but wait, we could brainstorm like hundreds of risks. How do we even start to get our heads around all of them? Well, that is where the risk breakdown structure comes in. Think of it like a giant filing cabinet for your risks. By grouping them into sensible categories, like technical, or external, or organizational, you bring order to all that chaos. Plus, you start to spot patterns you would have missed otherwise. All right, this next step is absolutely vital. Before you can rank a single risk, your whole team has to agree on what words like high impact or low probability actually mean for this project. Does high impact on the schedule mean we're late by a week or by a month? This table gets everyone speaking the same language. It's a must-do. And here is where we put all that hard work into action. This is the PI matrix. It's like a visual heat map for all your risks. You plot each one based on its probability and its impact, and bam! Instantly, the really critical threats up in that red zone just jump right off the page. It tells you exactly where you need to focus your energy first.
This brings us to a really crucial point. You have got to know what your stakeholders' appetite for risk is. How much pain are they actually willing to put up with? Defining these clear, measurable thresholds, just like this one, takes all the guesswork out of the equation. It creates a really clear tripwire, so you know exactly when you need to sound the alarm.
So Sam leans back. He's satisfied. Alex isn't looking at a chaotic mess of a plan anymore. Now she sees a strategic framework. The mentor wraps up the lesson, summarizing the most important parts of building that strong shield. And it's a lesson for Alex and for all of us.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. First, know your terms. Risks, issues, and assumptions are totally different things. Second, your risk management plan is your proactive game plan for dealing with uncertainty. Third, you gotta define your process. That means methodology, roles, and categories. And fourth, use tools like the PI matrix to prioritize with absolute clarity. That's the foundation for everything.
And now it's over to you. Sam leaves Alex with a challenge, and I'm going to leave you with the very same one. Here are some questions to take back to your teams there at Kent Business College. Talk about them, debate them, and really use them to turn this knowledge into a skill you can use. So the question is, how are you going to forge your strategic shield?